Now I have already then selected my picture. I cut my picture out, and actually what I decided to do was put it on one of these centers that came out of the frame itself, and I just kind of added it as a little as a dimensional effect to go inside the frame itself. Even if you wanted to pop it up even more, you could even put maybe like a pop dot or something up underneath there if you wanted to do that. But I preferred to somewhat sand some of the edges a little bit. I used the sanding kit that we used to carry in the kit in MemoryWorks, and we may still carry one. It's a distressor. I know you can also use like an edge distressor or something like that if you want to use that. You have that in your stash already. But this is the basic gray tool set, and what I did was I just sanded the edges a little bit to just kind of give it just a little bit of an effect there. You can see along the edges a little bit of a distressed effect, and then I took that, and it also helped to let it fit a little more snug inside the frame itself too. So that's what I did, was I just took that, I fit it back in there, and that's the effect that I came out with. So what I'm going to do next is then again, I'm using some of the Tattered Angels products. This is Pumpkin Pie, and once again, this will come up in a later video series full of how-to different Tattered Angels techniques. But you want to have a well spread out surface. You don't want to spray everything around you when you do use this. I use a little bit of it, speed up the drying time here with my heat gun. And then what I'm going to do next is I did pick out a stamp as well that I want to use. The Journey is the Reward, and I'm going to use that also. We also have some really cool travel stamps now with MemoryWorks by Making Memories. There's a set, or it may be by Girls Loft. Yes, I believe that's the set that's with them. So definitely one set to pick up if you have lots of travel pictures, vacation pictures. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and I can stick this down. And I'm just going to use a little bit of adhesive. You may want to use pop dots, something like that. Just a really nice strong adhesive. And I think I'll decide later which way I want to anchor this down. I probably would pick maybe some brads or something, some bold brads, or even some Tim Holtz metal hardware to put into these holes to just kind of age it a little bit. So then what I'm going to take next is my ink pad, which is the American Crafts Pigment Black. So I'm going to take that, and I'm then going to stamp my greeting a little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and stamp above here, The Journey is the Reward. And there you have it. Your own personalized frame, and it's going to be there. Cool. Last technique that we're going to try is there's so many cool stamp sets out now. Also, there's lots of circle patterns, and a lot of times we see papers, and especially in our MemoryWorks Express kits and some of the new papers that we're also carrying in the catalog, that has lots of maybe floral embellishments like this one. This is by Making Memories, the Flutter line that was in our very popular March MemoryWorks Express kit. And we also have papers like this where there's possibilities for borders. You can cut the strips apart and use them as accents on pages, behind photos, as embellishments on cards. So lots of possibilities. And if you look at the paper, you can start to maybe see so many, in my mind, I see so many details of things that can really stand out more by adding embellishments to make them pop. So that's what I'm going to show you today, is actually using what we always most of the time get in our MemoryWorks Express kits, and I'm sure you all maybe have a big bin of them at home or a basket of them at home, is buttons. And I know for myself, I have plenty of buttons, so we're definitely going to try that effect today. And what we're going to do is I'm going to coordinate this by showing you how you can take maybe even some scrap papers. These I've used the MemoryWorks Express kit and something else. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to show you how I can use buttons to spice up my paper. So to save time, I've already began stamping a little bit on my tag here, and I'm just going to show you how you can take circle stamps. I know that we also have a stamp set that was in one of our past catalogs, and in the MemoryWorks catalog is this 7 Gypsies set. Really love this set because of all the circles and how you can implement this also in using a circle design and embellishing it up a little bit. So I've already, like I said, started stamping a little bit just to speed up a little bit of time here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. And I think I'm going to flip this one a little bit more here. And this is something that you could do down the side of a page. I'm doing it on a tag just to save time here for demo purposes, but you could definitely do the same technique on a scrapbook page. So as you can see here, I did this technique on my tag. So what I'm going to do is you could use this stamp just as it is, okay, but I'm going to take it a step further and I want to spice it up. I think it's a very cool stamp. It's from Tim Holtz by Stampers Anonymous, but I think it definitely needs some spicing up. So showing you now, I've sped it up here a little bit, and I've already showed you how I've applied some buttons here, and here. I've already added some stitching to them. I like to add thread to my buttons just because it gives it more of a sewn look. I think it makes the look a little more complete, and so that's what I've done here on my tag. You can easily just attach the buttons directly if you want to do that. I don't like to stitch them through the back just because I sometimes use them in a mini book and I'm flipping the tags in this way, so I just attach them with some glue dots directly to the tag, and so they're not going anywhere. They're definitely stuck down. So then also what you may want to do is you may have some mini photos. You might want to add some photos also to this. So to take it a step further, I'm using a 1-inch punch here, and so I like to flip my punch over, put my photo there directly so I can see exactly where I'm punching. So I want to get a picture of him there with the pizza, as you can see. So then I'm going to go ahead and punch it through. So then what I'm going to do is you can then easily add that also as the side. I finished up my tag here, and as you can see, I went ahead and I used the 1-inch circle punch to punch the photo, and I applied it directly to my tag. And as you can see now, the full effect that just a regular stamped image, I spiced it up with definitely some buttons. As you can see here, I added them to some of the centers and the edges. I like to do things sometimes in a little bit of odd numbers, so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Makes it more of a balanced approach there. And like I said, you could also do this if you have a 12 by 12 page. You could do this definitely down one side of your page, or if you wanted to do it along the bottom of your page or at the top of your page. A very cool effect to use with your stamps. And going back to here, as I said at the beginning, is that you can take some of your pattern paper, some of the border papers that we have now. So it helps you to see how you can think in new ways of using even your papers to spice it up and add some buttons. For an example of that, I won't demo for time reasons, but for here, you'll see on this particular page in this mini book I made using the March Memory Works Express Kit. It's quite a chunky little book, but inside here on this page, I took advantage of the circles on this paper. Now, it would have been fine just using the circles as is, but as you can see, I spiced it up and I took some of the chipboard buttons, I added some thread, a stitching, even a stamped greeting here that says love you, and then I took the buttons here and a stamp also there. So this shows you how you can take up your papers and your stamping to the next level. And I definitely hope that you learned lots of very cool techniques that you can use with your current MemoryWorks products, as well with some of the new MemoryWorks products. And I very much look forward to future video series. And if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact me directly by email, wendymorris2129@gmail.com. And of course, find all of your great MemoryWorks products at www.memory-works.com. Until next time, bye-bye.